systems, and the car has 2 independent braking systems. The only time we actually use brakes is first thing in the morning to test them, and then when we're parked at the top of the mountain or the bottom, when we take on passengers. All the rest of the time, all our motion is controlled by that hydraulic pressure from the engine. The engines are geared and governed to go roughly 5 miles an hour both uphill and down. So our trip down the mountain is roughly 40-45 minutes, same amount of time it took to go up. Consider the engine weighs roughly 21 tons, the car fully loaded is about 7 tons. 40 minutes to bring 70 people up the top of the mountain is not a bad time. It's not the quickest anyone's come down the hill. The young men who built the railway, for the most part, were Civil War veterans. Accustomed to a bit of danger, certainly adventuresome, but they had a long work day. They show up early in the morning, load their gear onto the train. It took an hour and a half to ride those first little engines up to the end of the track. At that point, they'd get off, spend the day cutting down trees, making grade, putting down the rails. And at the end of the day, they had to wait for the train to come pick them up. And then another hour and a half ride down before they could leave for the evening. It was a long work day and a long commute. But like young men today, at the end of a long work day, they have someplace better to be than on the side of a hill. So they figured out a little quicker way to make it home. They built what they called slide boards. Slide boards were about 3 feet long, 8 inches wide. They put a couple of wheels on the bottom of it to ride that center rack down. A couple of friction handbrakes. They could ride from the very top of the mountain down to the base station in roughly 20 minutes.